Hello everyone, this is Brandon Lyons, and I wanted to talk about my position on different economic systems. I'm making this a short video in hopes that we have a discussion about it, we have an understanding of different people's opinions, and then hopefully later I'll be able to make a more detailed video going over this. But like I said, this is really my opinion, and I'm putting it out there so we can have this discussion in the first place. So I'll start with the first chart. And it shows pure capitalists, pure socialists, and pure communists. So if you look on there, you can see how socialism is closer to communism on that chart. And it's because they're relatively the same thing. And socialism's main purpose is to take you to communism. At least that's what the popular saying has been. And I paraphrase that. But I'll go over the definitions real quick so we get a grasp on this. Pure capitalism would be no government involvement into the economy. It's an entirely separate thing, ran privately through private enterprise. No measures to stop monopolies, no FDA, no government-backed currencies, and things of that nature. And then pure socialist, it's basically your labor force controlling production. And then you go over to pure communism. It's basically everybody owning all means of production equally. No class system. And at that point, you're really talking about a utopia, which many people know by human nature just isn't entirely possible or plausible yet. But I'll touch base on that a little bit more in the future. So let me point out here, this is the sweet spot, obviously, green, and as you move away, right or left, you get darker into the green zone, move closer to red. And that illustrates to me what I think is that perfect sweet spot. Now, in the United States, we are right about here. And you see those two arrows really representing the fact that we have a lot of social programs. Many of them are really inefficient. There's things that move us more over on the right-hand side, deeper, like the minimum wage and things like that. Large increases, at least you could easily say that that's something that takes us to the right. And on the left-hand side of that bright green area, that really represents money in politics, lack of regulation in certain areas. And the reason why there's two arrows is that because it's practically impossible to just choose one solid location because there's so many moving parts in any economy. So that, I think, depicts it correctly, at least in my view, on where we are currently. Now, when it comes to social programs, there is this zone I like to call the self-fulfilling prophecy zone, which means we try to alleviate certain problems, and typically the laws that we pass expand the problems, or at least they have unintended consequences which open up another door of areas that have problems. So our knee-jerk reaction is to create another law and another law. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you sign this first piece of legislation, then it just opens up the floodgates. And don't get me wrong, because I think we have a lot of programs that are very good, and that perfect spot, that sweet spot, is made up of both social and other policies that really help entrepreneurship and business ownership and growth and GDP. And here is what I'd call the point of no return. Once you get to this level, you have passed so many bills to try to fix problems that had unintended consequences, and the cycle just gets so largely increased by this So it grows so exponentially that it's hard to reverse. It's still possible, but I think at this point, and this would involve like tons of social policies, like too high of tax rates, really slowing down of GDP to the point of, the poverty level skyrocketing. And that's what I would call that area. And from there, on a side note, this is where you get a lot of leaders that take advantage of this, maybe socialists or communist party leaders that see opportunity and pounce on this, try to sell something that is going to make it worse and push it over to the right, when in fact what you need to do is reversal on policy to get yourself back into the green. So the thing I really want to show in this is that the best economic system you can have is a capitalist system. But that always has a combination of different items that involve the safety net, and you got to make sure that the policies, like the corporate tax rates are low, so you can help growth and prosperity. You can actually make money that it takes to support these different social programs. So it's always this combination, in my opinion. And capitalism isn't perfect. It's far from perfect, but it's way better than the other options of socialism and communism. And why I say that is because they are pipe dreams. They always start off with such good intentions, and they just become so easy for somebody to take advantage of them, somebody to use them for their own benefit and turn it into a totalitarian society. And many people have this saying that comes along with communism: if we were only good enough. And I might have paraphrased that a little bit off too, but I think it holds true to human nature. We strive for self-fulfillment, and that might not be something that everybody strives for, but it's definitely something that many people strive for their own needs. And this idea of this utopian society where everybody just shares everything and doesn't want more than the next person, or doesn't want something different than the next person, is just something that I don't think we'll be able to acquire. And I was actually having a discussion a couple weeks ago, and I think that one day we are going to have the technology it takes to have a true communist society. The type of technology where you can have a 3D printer at home that prints up anything you want. So, if you want that snowboard, you just print it at home, costs you nothing. If you want that car, or computer simulator, whatever it is, when that technology reaches that point where we can create those things for no money at all, then I think it's going to be a working system. But until then, in order to attain that sort of technology, in order to have that type of innovation, it's going to take capitalism. It's going to take people having these ventures, having these ideas, and wanting to make them into a business, wanting to make them the next biggest thing. That is what's going to take us there. So until then, this is what we have. This is my thoughts on the perfect combination of the system. This is where I think we need to be focused on and aware of, that every time we take from one side, we got to take from the other side. It's got to be a balanced approach whenever we do anything, so we can maintain that perfect spot, sweet spot. Thanks again, everybody. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. Where would you place your gradient bars, I guess I should say, for lack of better words? Where would you have the perfect system? Would it be more to the left? Would it be more to the right of this graph? Let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later.